We were just having a conversation, and the question that we were talking about was really, how do we know? How do we know when something is a strength of ours? And then Mac was going on to really start to discuss that he believes that your weaknesses carry so much when it comes to understanding your strengths. So I thought that that was very interesting because I've never really heard many people look at it from that perspective. So I thought that that was very interesting. Welcome back, everyone. I think we just got completely kicked out, which was strange. But we're back now. I'm just waiting for Mac to join in back again. There you are, Mac. Maybe you can explain to me what Instagram is doing to us. Let's get Mac back on the line. So like I said, the last thing that we would is our strength. And Mac was really saying something I thought was very interesting, that your weaknesses actually hold the key to what your strengths are. What just happened?
I don't know, eh? It's just blame it on Insta. We don't know. We will never know. If you can't trust WhatsApp, you can't trust Insta. I'm telling you.
They're all out to get us. So you were saying, please continue.
So I was saying, it's very important for you to firstly discover the weakness in you. A lot of people have so many weaknesses. You find some people are very lucky to have that one weakness, and they divide the weakness, and then they conquer the weakness, and then they go out. I think your weakness, the biggest thing that you need to understand is that your weakness is actually a strength. My weakness was fear. I had the fear of what people would think, people would say, how people will receive me, and how the society will embrace me one day when I, start kicking down doors. My biggest weakness was fear, but I started talking about it, surrounding myself with positive people. And from that, I learned that at some point in life, I have to be quiet, I have to be very silent, take in what everyone says, educate myself, build a blog from everyone's knowledge. And once I get on top of that wisdom blog, take that and challenge my own fear. When I, eventually dropped out of law, I had the biggest fear that, my mother's going to tell me, you suck, you don't have a life, this media world is not going to work for you. But then I just told myself, I'm just going to go ahead, man. I'm going to do me. I am going to go follow the passion. I'm going to go follow the dream. If I do fall, I do not have anyone to blame, but to blame myself. So I challenged my fear, and I turned my fear into my own strength.
I like that idea. I like the idea of challenging our weaknesses first and facing them, because I think when we do that, we take their power away. We take that power that they have over us, we take away from them when we confront them. And I think that it reminds me of a practice that I know of that I actually started working on in 2020, and I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called shadow work. And it's all about improving the self. I can see your face lights up, so you must know a little bit about this. It's all about improving self by coming back to some of the things that you're trying to hide and compress and put away somewhere in the back seat so that you can come back into yourself. Now, I want to just move the conversation a little more towards what I want to chat about today. So why do you think that it's important for us to stay in our lanes? I mean, we've heard this term stay in your lane used so much, but it's got a negative connotation, I think. But why do you think it's important to do that? And what's a different way to redefine stay in your lane?
Look, like you said, it's a trend. Stay in your lane is a trend. But it comes back from way back in the days. Our grandmothers, grand. They've been staying in their lanes for the longest time. Back in the days of the dog bus, they were staying in their lane. Like, at 9 p.m. you're not at home, you know what's going to happen. But it's your success. It is yours alone. Unless you have employees under your umbrella. Even though you do have them, when you go fishing, you toss your rod into the dam hoping to catch something, right? So from that, the line that you use, that is basically your lane and yours alone, unless someone crosses that lane, which is where collaborations happen in business or business partners happen. You need to discover yourself and your lane before you can actually cross your line with someone else at a dam. Because once you start sitting at a dam and fishing together, that basically means chances are we might catch the same fish on two different baits. So staying in your lane is basically just you being you and focusing on doing you, period. Nothing else, nothing more. The role you play and remembering what your goal is important. Like I always say, stick to what you know, but never shut your brain from educating yourself. So it's just you basically doing you and you focusing on yourself, because people have got this thing of, I want to focus on this. And then when you are not successful in that, you want to focus on the other goal and you want to focus on the other thing. Focus on what you want to work on what you want to achieve. Once you have achieved that, even though you fail, your failure is actually an achievement, because there are many people that wake up and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. They get old and then they regret it. Stay in that lane for the longest time, even though you fail. Just tick it off your priority list that I did it. I was stuck in my lane 100%. I managed to get somewhere. I did not achieve it, but I knew what my focus was. And for a change in my life, I managed to achieve something, which is getting to the end of that lane.
Okay. So I can hear a lot of people, possibly, and I know quite a few people on this call probably work in corporate, and they're going, okay, I mean, it's all fluffy. Work your strengths, do what you're passionate about.
You see, the corporate world, to be honest with you, the corporate world is just an eye blinding. We're just working for the tax man, realistically. I've got my own businesses aside, but I'm also working for the tax man.
So with that, yes. So whatever the system looks like above us, that's given. I mean, you're speaking facts. But what do we do where we are? So what's the combination? How do we split the stuff? Because I mean, work is not just made up of stuff that you love, that you're passionate about, that you wake up in the morning, you're like, yes, I can't wait to drop the reports and then, fill out all sorts of spreadsheets. But how do you, is there a way to maybe use the stuff you're passionate about to draw into the stuff that you're not? How do you balance the two between the things you really don't want to do and the things you really, really love?
So if you open up the bracket, you get employed because of your creativity, based on what you studied. And most of all, if you look at it this way, you work to learn something new, right? But out of that, where you come from, your own roots, you were born naturally with an instinct to come up with amazing ideas. You are your own individual, but everyone needs a salary. We can't take that away. We all need jobs to survive. In order for you to, this way, you work to learn something new, right? But out of that, where you come from, your own roots, you were born naturally with an instinct to come up with amazing ideas. You are your own individual, but everyone needs a salary. We can't take that away. We all need jobs to survive. In order for you to, release and show the world your creative side. It's possible for you to secure the bag. I think what's very important is that people need to step forward. People need to learn how to say, I am not just a general manager. I am not just a receptionist. I am not just, a presenter, or I am not just, whatever the case might be. We know of cleaners that have made a massive success, and I can share a story with you, but it's going to be a very long story, of someone that actually used to clean at one of our offices, who is actually by now the wealthiest sister that I know. So you yourself, with what you know, with what you have as a dream, everyone is born in a dream that was painted in color, not black and white. You yourself need to go back to their dream. Take what you have right now, the resources that you have right now, and put it down on the table. If they shut down your doors, it's okay, move on to the next chapter of your life. But use the platforms that you have to start, sharing your ideas, to start, opening up more, to allowing other people within your bag in order for you to secure the bigger bag. And that way, that's where things like investments come in. Because the first thing when starting a business, everyone thinks it's money. It is never money. The first thing to starting a successful business, it's you. So your strength, your characteristics, your dreams, your goal is basically your bag. So if you really want to achieve something in life, It's quite simple. It all starts with you. If you're stuck in a corporate world, it's quite simple. Sit down in the corporate world, because I give you 100% guarantee that there is someone out there that believes in you, and that same person is going out there sharing the story that you shared today. And you never know who shares stories about you. You never know which people will be sitting around the same round table listening to their story. There's always someone listening. I was told that by a guy called Dumele Diao, who I think is one of the best, radio brains in the industry, actually, in terms of when it comes to content. He always said to me, you never know who's listening, right? Do you, be you, but bring yourself out, because you'll never know who's listening. Your story is actually your bag. South Africans, we believe in stories. We are storytellers every single day. Yeah. So your story is your bag. So what is your story? That's the big question. You got to be successful. The question starts with, what is your story? That's it. That's your success.
Okay, talk to me about outsourcing our weaknesses. Let's go back to the story of weaknesses. I'm really intrigued to hear a little bit more about that philosophy.
So
talk to me about that.
Stop writing. Stop writing. Stop writing.
No,
stop writing. No, not you. No, not you. It starts with stop writing. The education sector, bless them and the teachers for everything they taught us. Everything starts with writing. You write every single thing down. You write, it's your name, it's your age, where you live, yada yada, the details about you. It's such a system. You're captured in this small little bubble that's such a database that you are being taught how to write every single thing down. Stop writing for a change. Self-introspection, the discovery within. You need to start there. Do not write it down, because if you write it down, it will keep on haunting you for the longest time. To walk away from something, your fear, to walk away from your challenges, to find those weaknesses, is by you taking the weakness and sitting down, literally on a chair, which is what I do, my biggest secret, and I don't share this with a lot of people. I'm always the weakness speaking to Mack. So I will put down 2 chairs in my house, facing Mack as a weakness, and I will start asking him questions. And in return, I will start imagining Mack sitting in front of me, basically giving me, the ultimatum to my fears, to my weaknesses, whatever they are, and telling me the weakness that, why are you in my way? How can I beat you? How can I be 10 steps ahead of you? And trust me, once you start discovering that relationship between your weaknesses and who you are as an individual, those answers will come, and you'll always be 10 steps ahead of your weaknesses, no matter what. It will, though, catch you off guard. That's one thing about a weakness. It will knock you hard, but the trick is you should never be afraid of that second individual.
I like that practice of the 2 years.
Yeah, like, let's see, who's this?
Zane is making a comment.
Zane, and he says, we're all yearn to overcome, but fear holds us back. Fear. Zane, I like the fact that you raised that. Let me tell you my story, very shortly. Welkom, Free State. Zanele, you know where Welkom is. It's a beautiful town. I love it. Very small. Grew up, in a society where, it was drugs and alcohol and gangsterism. My mom worked very hard for me to get to where I am today, and I'll always take my hat off for that woman, which I didn't do right now, but it's okay. So I always had a dream, media. She said law, went law, dropped out. Then I said to her, I'm going to face the fear of leaving Welkom with not even a cent in my pocket to go find the dream and follow it. I'm taking fear along. And my fear coming from Welkom, they used to say, when you jump off the taxi at Noord, one thing that's going to happen to you, you're going to get robbed, brother. Back in the days, it was Vodacom all over the billboards. These days, now it's here, and now it's back to Vodacom. And it did happen. I got robbed.
Oh man.
Exactly what they told me. I jumped on the taxi with my bag, literally very quickly in 2 seconds, slid off the bag, wallet out, money gone.
Snap.
One sneaker, literally, the other sneaker said t-shirt and a jean. That's it. But I was coming for an interview at Jacaranda, you know? Did I have a place to stay? No, I didn't. Where was I going to go after the interview? I don't know. So what did I do? I carried on. I journeyed on. I asked everyone, dude, how do you get to Midrand? They showed me the taxi. That's how you get to Midrand. Got to Midrand, jumped off at Midrand, and then I went in. There I was. Before my interview, it was supposed to be at 12. I sat for 4 hours.
Yeah.
In my mind, fear was telling me, you better walk the hell out of here and give up because it's not happening today. There might be a postponed. Management is probably busy. They can't see you right now. I probably had 10 cups of coffees on the day, requesting from the reception just to buy time. The receptionist was just giving me coffee just to buy time. And then my general manager came down, went straight to his office. I thought, hey, dude, you recognize me? We're on the phone together. No recognition. Then the programs manager came down and said, okay, cool. Hey, Mac, how's it going? Shop, brother, come in. Sat down in the office. And then that's when he said, here's your contract, sign it. And the question was, do you have a place to stay? Mm-hmm. My response, my brain said, no. But fear said, yes, because I already challenged fear. Me as an individual, as Mack Rapapali, it was a no. But my fear, because I already faced it from Noor Taxis coming here, it already said yes to me. So I said yes. And they said, okay, there's the contract, sign the contract, you're starting your first show tomorrow. Where the hell am I going to? Brother, I don't know. So because he told me that I'm starting the show tomorrow, I already had a strategy in place. I'm going to sit in front of a computer and I'm going to work on content until everyone leaves. I stuck and I stayed right through till everyone cleared that radio station, and I slept underneath a desk. Woke up in the morning, went down to the gym, gymmed, because they had showers. Thank you, they showed me the showers at the gym when I got there. Went straight to the gym, hit the shower. After the shower, I got out and, hey, how's everybody? Good morning. Hey, morning. Hey, Max, so where are you going? Where do you stay? No, I stay around Midrand. Don't worry about it. Okay. But the rest of the day, they couldn't understand why I was literally sitting in front of that computer. Took naps downstairs in the gym. Came back out after 5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours. I used to change my shifts every single time with what time people sees me. And most importantly, my managers were not allowed to see me at all. The only way they could see me is by greeting and realizing that I'm still here. I played that game for a month. Got another show on the station. And then that's where I started investing in a second-hand bakkie. Out of that bakkie, I decided, okay, cool, what am I going to do now? Do I take my last cents that I have and find, a little, I don't know, pause, shack in Tembisa or at the Reach, and which I did. I went around looking for a place, but they were all so expensive. So I made a decision that, okay, cool, I will spend my time in this van until I get enough money to find myself a place. So I stayed in that van for 9 months with the fear of parking at a traffic light in a random garage, sleeping in there, waking up, going to gym, eating KFC, which I don't understand why they haven't sponsored me to this day, because I chowed that streetwise too.
Me too. I just had
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I stayed in that van for 9 months. Fear slept with me in that van for 9 months through winter, summer days, rainy days. I had the best conversations with petrol attendants. I used to park at every single garage in Midrand and having random conversations, which was the stories that I took back on air because they were so powerful. So from there, that's when I realized if I did not make the decision to go back home then, why will I make the decision right now to fail myself if I am still the one talking to my weakness till this day? So on a daily basis, when I wake up, anything that I action, that's why my friends, they normally say, Mac, you're the only person that we know that you would wake up in the morning with an idea and you'll find a way to make it possible. How the hell do you do that? Because I am not scared anymore. I travel with my weakness. And if my weakness fails me, that's where the problem comes in. That's when I realized that I failed myself. Because I am two individuals. it's me and fear. If my fear fails me, that basically means I have failed myself, but I cannot blame anyone else. So 9 months later, got a place to stay. In fact, before I got a place to stay, I got caught sleeping in one of the production rooms. Morning, a meeting was called, and I was asked to come in. General manager, not even any other manager. And he asked me straight in my face, "You've been sleeping here for how long?" And I said, "Well, it's in and out, corner here, corner there, back studio, shower." And he said to me straight, "Today you're going to go find yourself a place. Even if I have to help you find a place, you're going to go find a place." I drove out of that studio. I was literally sweating. Like, what's going to happen to me? Is this guy going to get rid of me if I don't find a place? But you see what he did? He drove me. He drove me to actually face my weakness, which was, you are now being too comfortable with your situation.
Yeah.
Whereby you can actually sacrifice now. It's either you sell this bakkie, get a second-hand bike, right? And find a place, or alternatively, go into the hood and go get that place. Because now you've got some money. Yes, you're looking for a cool place. You want to be comfortable. You want a bed. You want everything. You want a plasma screen. But now it's time for you to make the decision. You have built enough money for you to be able to find a place. But I was looking for a comfortable place. My biggest problem. I can't blame fear. He drove me this far. Normally fear is a woman. She drove me this far, you know? But the point that I'm trying to get to is that, you know, he made sure that I am also not comfortable in my position. And out of that, I drove out of Metro, and because I was so scared, I was sweating, and I remember it very well. I passed that African restaurant at Noordwijk. As I got to the traffic light, tried to jump over, a random taxi driver hit me and that van rolled. It just rolled in front of Spa, in front of the engine garage. I'll never forget it. That bakkie rolled. Immediate write-off, no insurance, no nothing. Now, what do I do? With the monies I had, I went into Facebook and I made one post. And I said, I'm looking for a place to stay today. I had the fear of doing that. But I sat down and I spoke to Fear and I said, Fear, seriously, I just lost the van. Now what now?
Really,
and out of that one post, you know what I mean? Like, dude, like you just dropped me like that, bro. Like, what's your problem? You know? But out of that, that one post,
yes.
which is what people are afraid of. People are afraid of raising their hand and asking. They are so afraid of asking. I raised my hand and I said, I'm looking for a place to stay. And one lady jumped straight in my inbox and said, I've got a place for you for $2,000 a month. And it's just literally down the road from work. That's how. And it was a bachelor flat, 1 bedroom. It was comfortable for me. So I don't want to tell people to say, do not be scared. Do not be afraid. Because then that for me, that will be like ridiculous saying that. You will be afraid for the longest time. You will be afraid to start something from scratch. You will be afraid in terms of walking a certain path. You will be afraid of losing someone, losing something. You will be afraid in this life. But the question is, how long are you going to be afraid? Life is a walking time bomb. Your clock can take any time. How long are you going to... If death is not afraid of us, why are we afraid of life?
Who are we?
It's just
this
a
is
question.
getting so deep. You are.
It's just a question.
This is.
If,
no, I like that.
And these are the words of my mother. You know, she said to me, and I was still a kid. You know, when I was used to sell ice guavas in the streets to get taxi fare to go to school, you know, tamatis. She said to me, hey, if death does not fear you, why are you fearing to get out there and live the life you want to live? Why are you fearing to walk into that person's yard and say, I'm selling potatoes at 250? Your life is in the palm of your hands and it's ticking, brother. If you're not going to go out and make it happen, how are you going to go to school? How are you going to go to school? I can't always look at her in the eyes and say, yeah, but you and my mother, I know you're unemployed, that you need to make a plan. Am I driving my mother? Not to say that it happens in most cases. Was I the one that was going to say, yo, mom, you know, you need to make sure that I go to school today, whatever. would I have driven my mother and told her to break her morals or what she believed in? I'm going to be very blunt. That's me. I'm straight up. I'm very realistic with my conversation. Was I the one that was going to tell my mother, you need to go out and go be a prostitute? You need to go out and do this. You need to go out and do that. No, I was not going to be that person. She told me something. She told me, your life is not that long. You don't even have long on this planet Earth. But for every single thing that you achieve in your life, my son, you will tick that box. Even though you fail, you will tick that box because you achieved it. There are people out there that will never be able to tick that box.
Okay.
It all goes back to that. So let's secure the bags and then with fear.
Done. And you know what you remind me of? I'm actually reading this book, Your Brain at Work. And it was actually, I've just gone over the part where it speaks about how you actually need, you and I, all human beings, actually need a certain percentage of fear for us to get mental arousal that stimulates us to actually get stuff done. Think about the primitive human being. If you needed to get into action, protect yourself, get into survivor mode, you need to have a fraction of fear in there for you to get your butt moving. But obviously, there's a certain amount. I want to read the comments here so that we can move on. Oh, our time moves so quickly. Ayanda, you say at one point in time, fear for me became a habit. Wow. It wasn't normal. I became comfortable with it, unaware of multiple great opportunities I could have tapped into. And I think, Mac, you just spoke to this so well now about fear. And what I just said just added to it, that it's there. But really the conversation today is really starting to take the position of, with the fear, with your weaknesses, rather use your weaknesses as a catapult to get you there. Don't look at them as something that's negative. Mac, now I want to end our conversation off with this. I read somewhere that one of your greatest inspirations were your mom and your Oma, because they used to say to you that you have a big mouth. Tell me about that. Tell me how that was.
I was very disruptive. I was very disruptive. I'm still disruptive to this day. I was very disruptive, and it started at school. I was never quiet. You would never believe it. I actually built a little frequency modulator at school, and I used to interrupt the broadcast through intercoms at classes.
Really?
And I was a bad boy, and I would literally tell everyone on the rugby field, you must tap in at break time. I've got a radio show that I'm going to host through this modulator. You can find the frequency on your little cell phones. So I made it possible. It happened. And one of my teachers actually approached me after a massive meeting with the education board and our principal that I'm a big mouth. I always have a leg to stand on. And my mother said to me, it's because he wants to be this lawyer guy, one of my teachers said to me, you can go into the law industry because you've got such a big mouth and you always have a way out of things. But you are not meant for that. You were born to become a broadcaster. You are born to be on radio based on, the storyteller that you are. Because I used to tell stories at school. I used to make the boys sit down in the bathroom and I used to come up with random stories and tell them stories. But I guess, it all came from that because my grandmother was like, you're big, ma, but they couldn't understand it. Only the teachers saw. They saw the potential in me, what this guy is, and the naughtiness, going to the rugby field, playing rugby, and still being able to tell stories to the coach so that I can cut the exercises short. You know what I mean? So they used to say to me, you're very disruptive. You tell too many stories. You have got a big mouth. But then my grandmother understood a mouth differently from my mother. Mm-hmm. My grandmother said, you write songs, you do music. You like this whole radio thing that you're doing. You're always scribbling, you never do your homework, you're always writing down stories on books. What is it for? And I always used to, tape recorders back in the days, used to record via the two post play, record on the tapes and tell these stories at night to myself. And I'll go listen back to them actually as a kid. Mm. And then my grandmother said, if you want to be then be that person, because in the freestyle, is the biggest thing. So if you want to be be that person. But then she couldn't understand why I used to listen to radio and spoke radio, the like literally deep Afrikaans radio stations. It's like, where the hell are you going with all of that? Only to find out that one day I'll be sitting here Jacaranda. Because I used to, you open yourself up to the world. I know it's not part of the conversation, but it's like when people talk about, especially around me, when, racist and political stories come up, and I'm like, if you're not born in that era, it's not your problem to deal with. It does exist, yes, I know, but just don't shut down the future because of how you feel as an individual and trying to represent the rest of the society. There are people that are meant to have the conversations. If it does not suit you, if it does not fit, do not entertain it. Because the same person that you are going to school with today, who's white, black, colored, Indian, whatever, is the same person that you will meet again in the future, and you will need help from that person, which is what's happening. Life is a cycle, right? That's what's happening right now. You meeting someone that geez, dude, look, you're so grown. Oh my word, what are you doing? I'm selling perfume. Can I buy? Do you have stock? It's just those the tiniest things in life that you never take for granted. It's just the tiniest things in life. But anyway, getting back to my big mouth, yeah, that's how I just discovered that, this is me. This is the guy, and I've told myself I will leave this industry in a coffin. That's it. That's it. There's no other way. If they tell me hack, I will burn another one. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm that guy.
You're that guy. No, this is you. And I think it's so important to own that, hey? As we close our conversation, it's so important to own that. And what I found so interesting, and I find interesting about your story, is that you knew quite early on. And I actually read a piece of research that says children between the ages of about 11 and 13, that's when you actually start to see their strengths come through. But as parents and as teachers, we don't, exactly like you were saying, we don't quite understand exactly what form and shape that's going to mold into or represent itself later on. So we go, troublemaker, big mouth, this, that, always making noise. But actually what's starting to show up are the child's strengths that are indicating to us that, oh my goodness, we've got a radio DJ here. We've got a media personality here. We've got someone who's going to create a dent in the world here by using their voice and inspiring others. So I think that is such a big nugget to end off on. Mack, how do we follow you? Let us know a little bit more about your show and what you're doing and how people can track you and the work that you're doing.
Follow me at Zanella_Njapa. No, actually, she was asking me the question.
Only you.
No, you'll catch me down at Mack Rapapali on all my social medias. At Mack Rapapali, wire. Check out if there's, don't know what's going to happen on the 25th of Feb, but bring back the gin. The Mackenzie gin will be back on the market. And do you drink?
No, I don't drink gin, but I'm excited for you.
What do you drink?
Not on this call.
Liqueur. Don't be shy. You drink. I want to send you. In fact, you know what? Let's see. When they open up, I want you to choose one person from your broadcast, all your broadcasters coming up. Choose one person. Let's send them a package. All right? From the Mackenzie side. Let's send them a package from the Mackenzie side. We are busy also launching new products. So, who knows? Might as well just send the whole package.
That is so awesome.
And it's not about marketing. It's not about marketing. It's about me sharing my success with other people. Behind the bottles, you'll be able to read the full story.
Lovely. Any questions, guys? I just see comments. I see, clearly you're a funny guy. People are laughing. We've got
I under you keep breaking the doors, brother. Don't let them stop you, bro. If they stop you, call me, bro. We go to war.
You're doing the accent. Ayanda, I think you're positioning yourself quite well for this prize that Mack is putting out. So I don't know. Any questions, guys? Last few seconds. If you have a question, definitely put it out there. If you've got any final comments about this topic that we've been sharing about today, going, and gone. Okay.
And
sold.
Sold,
right?
So yes. I'll see you in the next conversation. In fact, you haven't seen the podcast or listened to the podcast yet with Ayanda. Not Ayanda. Yeah, I was interviewing Ayanda yesterday with Zanele. Head out to jacarandafm.com on Iono, as the client is now calling. Head out to Iono, jacarandafm.com, and go listen to the interesting conversation that I had with Uzanele about New Year's resolution. Let them go, my friends. Let them go. Let them go.
All right, bye-bye, Mac. Thank you so much for your time. You're awesome.
My beard good. Oh, good. Okay, bye. Oh, bye.
Good.
Ciao.
Bye. All right, guys, that was an absolutely awesome conversation with Mac. As you can see, he is just the most fun, the most awesome individual. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. I will see you next week again. We are going to be having Shelly Walters, and it's funny because her topic is actually, she's a sales expert, and her topic is going to be secure the bag. So it's all about you are the bag, position yourself. So how do you sell yourself in today's world where you position yourself professionally and personally so that whatever the future of work looks like, you can show up for it. And then after that, like I mentioned earlier as well, we're going to be having Ross Saunders, who is going to speak about what's up with WhatsApp. So it's all about, do you want to delete your WhatsApp? What's this privacy stuff all about? Can you trust them? Can you not? What should you look out for? So that's going to be a great one. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this conversation. Love you all lots and lots and lots. Bye for now.